I consider this to be a huge steal. This is all of the light that I really need to get ready, and I just wish we would have done it years ago.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one.
Welcome to another video. Thanks so much for returning, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm so happy to have you. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. Recently I posted a picture of this vanity here online to my Facebook and my Instagram, and I had just a huge response to those photos of people just loving what my mirror turned out to be like, and people wanting to know how we got it done, because I did specify that we got it done for about 80 bucks. Or at least it would have been $80 if we hadn't broken the first mirror. So if we only had to use one mirror, it would have been about 80 bucks, which I think is a steal. It's a really good deal to get this much lighting and on this size of a mirror. Okay, so my husband, he was actually the mastermind behind this whole mirror, but he didn't really want to be on camera, and that's okay. I'm going to give you just about everything you need to know in this video for how to make this mirror yourself, or to show this video to someone else to make it for you. So I'm going to go over the tools and where to get everything, and kind of how to do it. There's some details that I'm going to leave for the instruction page that my husband made, because it's just so kind of technical and mathematical. He made a really great instruction sheet though, and I'm going to include probably the Google Drive link to it so that you can access it anytime. The instructions will be totally free for you. And before we continue into the video, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss any of my post notifications. And if you really like doing your makeup, then this is gonna be a huge gift for you. So, or maybe if you know someone who likes doing makeup, then this will be a huge gift for them. Let's get started. The first things that you're gonna need to get are, one, a mirror. I got it at Home Goods. It was $40. The internal mirror size is approximately 35 inches by 23 inches. But I mean, I'll show you. Like, he made a huge thing. When you read this, you will feel like you're working right by his side. So the lights that are actually lights that I mentioned in my Amazon favorites video. I'll link that up here in the cards, but I will also provide the link here. Obviously, you're gonna need a mirror, lights. If you get a mirror my size, I highly recommend getting 2 sets. So that'll put you at $40 for lights and $40 for a mirror. Okay, then other than that, what you're gonna need is some we use packing tape, and after I was thinking about it, painter's tape might be a better option because it's easier to peel off, as it's something that you just use temporarily. My husband used an oscillator tool. And if you don't know what that is, it's also called a multi-tool. Vibrates at a super high frequency, and you can use it to cut into anything. Option 1, multi-tool. Option 2 is a Dremel. So this is what the bit looks like on the Dremel that you would want to use to get this job done. So I have no idea what it's called. Someone who's familiar with Dremels will totally know what this is, or just show someone at Home Depot. Okay, so we've got multi-tool, a Dremel, or you could use a router. This is what the bit looks like that my husband used. You can definitely use one smaller. It's just that this is just the one that he has. He doesn't have as many bits. So this is just one that he used is in the example piece that I'm gonna show you. So that's just one example. All right, so these are the examples that my husband made. So with the tool that that we had on the Dremel, this is what it would look like. Now this is pretty important. We'll have more specific like measurements on the instruction sheet. So you're gonna come back, I would say, a 1/2 inch. But then the other important part I want you to see is that you don't come all the way through to the front of the frame, okay? You want to leave a little bit of frame still there to leaving it intact. but you're gonna go about halfway, maybe like a few eighths of an inch or whatever that he didn't go. So again, we'll just have to look at his instruction sheet. This is what the different cutouts would look like depending on the tool that you use. So the Dremel at the top, the oscillating tool, or what we call a multi-tool, that's what he used, kind of gives more of a square cutout, a square channel. And then, as you can see, he wrote wrong bit size for the router. But that's, I mean, it would be fine that way. You would never notice that, you know, you had this huge chunk missing here in the end. So what's important is just that you make a way for the wire to come back into here and then out the back. These are the 3 different types of examples. Again, we did the one in the middle, the multi-tool. And then one of the last things that you're gonna need is a hot glue gun and some glue. So you find the mirror that you like. It's like, you know, if maybe you want a white one, or we went with a wood framed mirror. So when you get it home, what you'll find is that it's just a brown paper that's on the back of the mirror. And so you'll just need to remove that. And then you will need to remove the like cardboard backing. It's kind of like when you get a picture frame at the store and they just have the extra materials in the back to keep everything nice and snug tight. So it's like that for a mirror as well. So you'll remove the paper, then you'll remove the cardboard, and then you gotta remove the mirror. You need to be ultra careful because mirrors break. We broke ours trying to get one back in. I had to go out and buy another mirror that was the same size, and fortunately it worked, but don't do what I did. Removing the mirror is just like removing the glass out of pictures or whatever to put in a picture frame. There's little staples there. You just need to bend those back. And we actually ended up having to completely remove a lot of the staples when we were trying to get the mirror back in, because we just couldn't get them out of the way enough, and it was creating too much binding against the mirror. They aren't necessary either. You really don't need to have more than really one on each side, because you ended up hot gluing it back in anyways. So speaking of hot glue, you'll have to break the seal on some of the hot glue. You'll have to peel that off, cut it out, whatever you want to do, but in order to get the mirror out. Okay, so then the next step will be, after you get the paper out, the cardboard out, the mirror out, etc., it's time to cut and make the little slits where the wires are going to go. Because that's the big difference between the video that I did in the Amazon favorites and what we ended up doing in the end. But he completely redesigned how the wires travel, however, along the mirror here. So they're completely hidden. And that's the biggest difference between the way we did it and the way they come out of the box. Because out of the box, you get 2 bulbs here like so, and the wires travel horizontally in between. But what we did was we rerouted the wires to where they go from the sides to only up at the top, and then they loop around the back. And so everything is hidden on the back of the mirror. Okay, so you have done the cutouts, and on the instruction sheet also, I should have mentioned this first, but is the measurements, and that's totally gonna just depend on the size of your mirror and how many lights you have. There's 10 lights per strand of this specific one that I bought, and I didn't mention this already, but the reason that I got this one, which is really cool, is that the lights are dimmable. Super dim. They get bright. Super handy, even though totally not necessary, because I basically only want them on high bright. Someone might have a reason to have them dimmed down at some point. The instruction sheet has exactly how to calculate the distance, exactly where to put the lights. So you're gonna calculate that, then you'll make the cuts, the channels for the wires like I showed you. Hopefully I'll get this right. As you can see, we popped off the top bulb cap to expose the insides of the wiring, and we take the wires, everything comes apart really simply, and then we change the routing of the wire to both sides coming out just one side. Sometimes you can just kind of take like a flathead screwdriver or something to kind of force those wires down through that one little channel. Kind of force it a little bit, and then just put the little LEDs back in there and pop back on the bulb cap. Then you get all the bulb caps done. So everything is rewired. What you're gonna do next is take all the lights, put them into the channels approximately, and then you're gonna tape all the extra wire to the back of the frame. And the idea is that you're kind of getting them temporarily put into place and then just keeping everything out of the way so that you can get the mirror back in. Getting the mirror in for us was tough, but you just gotta make sure that those staples are just really out of the way. And if they're too short or they don't want to move enough, remove them. Just save yourself the headache and get rid of them. All right, so now you've got all the lights up into the channels and taped back out of the way from the center of the frame, basically, and you're ready to get the mirror back in. With a mirror this size, it definitely was easier, and I would say kind of necessary to do 2 people. Then you just got to wiggle it back in ever so carefully. Then when you get it in, fine tune all the wiring, just trying to get the lights tight up. So you're trying to pull as much wire out from the front of the frame as possible to get the lights as tight up to the frame as possible. So that's why I think painter's tape might actually be a better tape to use in this instance than the packing tape we use, because when I was trying to pull the wire, the packing tape was so on there and so hard to remove that it just kind of made the job tougher, I think. So that probably would have been a better choice if we had thought of that. So as we were finishing up, we did each light one at a time. You pull as much wire out from the front of the mirror as possible, and then we peeled the sticky off the back of the light and then made sure it was right where we wanted it, because this stuff sticks so good, okay? You guys, you cannot, it's like nearly not removable at all. Like, I don't know what kind of sticky magic this stuff is, but it is way stickier than any of that, the wall stuff that we all get at a Home Depot or whatever, okay? It's super sticky, so you need to make sure it is exactly where you want it. I don't mean to make you afraid, it's just that we were really surprised. Just do one light at a time, take your time, and because it's kind of, you're up there in the groovy places, we just made sure to clean the mirror really well up in that lights area of the framing before we stuck it on, because it wasn't really going to be an easy place for me to clean in the future very much. I mean, I can, but you also just want to have the cleanest surface as possible. And so yeah, so we just went along doing each light one at a time, wire clean, wire out, stick it on, move on. So then you get all of the lights done, and then you got to finish putting the back of the mirror back together. So then you're gonna stick the cardboard back, and then you're gonna put the staples back towards the center of the mirror. Use your own discretion for how tight to make them, but you want it to be a little bit snug. And then you're gonna get your hot glue gun going, and you're gonna do, like, I don't know, maybe 3 inches. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. You'll kind of know how much to use based on what you removed when you first took the mirror apart. I would say maybe 2 to 3 inches or so. Don't put any hot glue on the wires just to be safe. Do it where you didn't do the wires, of course. And so just do like a 3-inch strip on all 4 sides of the mirror, and then you're gonna put the paper back on if you want. Then we also retaped all of the wires on the back to really finally just get all wire totally hidden and tight, which is a little bit different than before we put the mirror back into the frame. Jared had removed the hanging fasteners, and so we reattached those to the frame for hanging. And then what I did was the controllers are actually at the bottom. We actually decided to stick them to the frame instead of the wall. The reason that we put the controllers up against the frame is that just in case I decided to rearrange the room again and this mirror needs to move, I didn't want to have to take that incredibly sticky stuff off the wall and redo the sticky, you know, and all that, potentially have to repaint the wall. So we just decided that was the best way for us to go in our, you know, situation. Can't really think of anything else. This is all of the light that I really need to get ready in the morning, especially on Sunday mornings, because Sunday mornings are rough. I'm getting ready really early in the morning. It's almost always dark out still, and it's basically the only light that I'm using. I'm so happy with this DIY vanity mirror. It's totally custom. I think it's gorgeous. I really like what we get for how much we spent. I think that really outweighs things. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. Myself or my husband via me or something like that will definitely answer your questions. Be sure to hit the link with the instructions sheet. It's lengthy, but it's gonna be, I think it's well worth it. You save a lot of money. Typically these professional mirrors run, my God, sometimes they're over $500. I consider this to be a huge steal. I just wish we would have done it years ago. Until now, this is the only light up mirror I've had to use. Yeah, this is the brightest setting. And it's like yellow. It's like yellow light. Oh, it's so bad. It's not. I'm sorry. So I think that's everything. Again, I can't go over all of like the technical math of everything. This would just be like 1,000 years long if I did that. You can get everything you need on the instructions sheet. It will all be there, all laid flat for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful or you think you might try to do the same thing, please give me a big thumbs up. It would mean so much. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell, of course, so you don't miss another post notification from me. I typically am posting about twice a week. Until next time, I hope you have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.
I just need to clear my I just need to